The Canucks get revenge with a dominant win over the Philadelphia Flyers to win their second straight game of the season with some big-time players making some big-time plays. And Dakota Joshua's injury update is going to further complicate things for the Canucks this season. We're going to be breaking down all of that this episode of Canucks Digest, but first make sure to hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon so you don't miss any updates surrounding the Canucks as we head through the end of this road trip. And with that, let's hop into the first topic of the day, which is the Canucks Get Revenge. So if you guys are watching the games, you guys would see that the Canucks did win 3-0 against Philadelphia Flyers. We got revenge for that game that we lost in the shutout for the Philadelphia Flyers to open their season. And we got revenge by making sure that their season opener ended with their fans booing their own home team off the ice at the end of the game. It was awesome to see that in the third period. The Canucks did come out firing on all cylinders as well, especially in the first two periods, with the goal scorers being Nils Höglander in the first period with assists from none other than Elias Pettersson with his second of the year and Connor Garland. It was a beautiful setup that Petey did with a great pass for Höglander on the short side where it was just a wide open net. And then in the second period, Brock Boeser had a sneaky backhand goal assisted by Tyler Myers, who was playing in his 1,000th career game and got a point in that game, and Jake DeBrusk with his fourth assist of the year. Boeser nets his third, and then Kiefer Sherwood with an assist from Teddy Bluger got his first goal of the season right off the faceoff. Philadelphia didn't even know what hit them when he scored that goal. And like I said, with Myers playing in his 1,000th career game, you could see Thatcher Demko right before the game wearing a Tyler Myers tour jersey or shirt where it has all the games that he's played in multiple destinations done up as if it was a concert jersey. That was really cool to see, especially before the game. There was comments saying that Thatcher Demko definitely looked like he wanted to be on the ice. He was smiling. He was in good spirits. And it's definitely going to be nice when we do get him back in this lineup. But as far as our insurance policy goes, we're going to touch on that a little bit later on in this video. But first, as far as talking about the game in general, when looking at the shots on goal, when you had the total shots on goal, you had 15-7 in the first period, 13-12 in the second. And then in the third period, Philadelphia did kind of get a little bit of momentum early on in the period, but then Vancouver kind of just neutralized that, just played shutdown hockey. They knew they didn't have to try and do too much on offense because they were already up 3-0. It's not like they took their foot off the gas. They were just trying to just play shutdown hockey. Like I said, kill the clock and just make sure that Philadelphia didn't get any further opportunities while just trying to dump the puck in. And if an opportunity came their way, so be it. There was a chance where Sherwood tried to get his second goal of the game or at least get an assist, and he fanned on the shot or the pass, and it didn't go his way. But it was awesome to see this as far as a Vancouver Canucks standpoint, where people complained about their shots on goal. This was a very offensive game for Vancouver, and the game stats also do not lie. Again, 32-26 total on the shot board. The faceoff circle, they did edge us out by 1%. Power play, we couldn't convert as well, but we did not give up any shorthanded goals. So if we weren't able to convert on the power play, at least we were not giving anything up on the penalty kill while we were shorthanded. The hits, 31 hits to 24. It was a physical game, and there was one person in particular that did contribute to that, and that was Kiefer Sherwood. He's got his 29th hit of the season. He leads the NHL in hits at this point. This is exactly what Vancouver wanted when they got him. This is exactly the type of player that they wanted to have on this team. They wanted someone who could be a thorn in other teams' hips. We saw what he did to us in Nashville last season in the postseason. We've said it multiple times. And Canucks fans, it was haunting their nightmares. It was great that we won the series. Otherwise, it would have haunted them even more. But now we have him on our squad, and he is leading the league in hits. And then when Dakota Joshua gets back, it's just going to be even greater as far as a physical standpoint for this team. And when Vinny Desharnais gets going a little bit more, plays a little bit more physical, or if Filip Hronek starts laying the body, or Carson Soucy, we know he likes to hit too. So these guys are getting a little bit going. We're starting to see the Canucks get up a little bit of steam here. Things are kind of getting going. Things are rolling. Now we have 2 straight wins, especially on the road. We can close out the road trip as well and then head home to play Pittsburgh in a nice game where we can just come off that road trip over 500 now and go into this Pittsburgh team where they're going to be trying to fire on all cylinders. We haven't played great at home yet. We hope that this road trip is going to be the change of that. This is the spark that Vancouver has been waiting for all season, and it seems like we finally have it to start the season. And as far as looking at the game, the little breakdown rundown of the game that Canucks Army did post out that first 40 minutes was among some of the best hockey the team has played in this short season, pouncing on Philly mistakes and not making too many of their own, but on the off chance they did experience a defensive breakdown, Kevin Lankinen was there to bail them out with exceptional positioning and well-timed saves. The Flyers attempted to take advantage of Lankinen's aggressive play, throwing long shots off the boards, looking to bounce out front, but it wasn't enough to help them today. Neither were the numerous posts for Lankinen forced by the shooters to hit. And speaking of Kevin Lankinen, that is going to bring us to this as well, where he got his first shutout of the season, his fourth career shutout, and Vancouver's first shutout of the season, I should say. And you can't help but think, has Kevin Lankinen taken over this starting job until Thatcher Demko is fully healthy? Has Shelov's kind of fallen out of favor with Tocchet after he was the shiny new toy last season and in the postseason, where he just threw Casey DeSmith by the wayside, and now Archer Shelovs is in that same position as Kevin Lankinen in back-to-back starts has now pulled off 2 impressive wins. He's been playing great. He's been playing lights out. So this is going to complicate things a little bit further for Vancouver. Now we're going to start to see the goaltending situation heat up a little bit more until Thatcher Demko comes back, and that's going to make it even more complicated because now you have a choice of, okay, now who is going to be worthy of that backup spot when Demko is ready? If Shelovs rattles off a few wins, awesome. I would definitely like to see him get the start against Chicago, give Lankinen a rest. He played back-to-back games. Let's see how Shelovs does in that final road game of this road trip to see how he does on the road as well, because we haven't seen too much of him on this road trip yet. And so if we see one more game with him as we head home, maybe that opens up the floor for debate of, okay, now they head into this game against Pittsburgh. Who do you start, Lankinen or Shelovs? So if we have one more tape and have equal games played for these goalies, it brings a little bit more to go off of as far as who should be worthy of getting the start. So what do you guys think about Vancouver's play in this game? I thought it was their best game played all season. They took that loss personally against Philly in the shootout, and they just came out firing on all cylinders and made sure they didn't take their foot off the gas. What do you guys think about Lankinen? Do you guys think that he is worthy of the starting goalie position going forward until Demko comes back and being Demko's backup? Would love to hear what you guys have to say down in the comments. But speaking of things that are going to be complicated, things that are going to complicate things further is Dakota Joshua's return. So Tocchet was saying that he was back on the practice ice skating on morning skate with the team. He said that was his first time with the group. It's good. It's a step closer. He's a guy that wins corner battles. He's one of our best net front guys. So when he comes back, it's like having a major trade. And he's not wrong there. And not only is he all of those things, but like I said earlier, he's a physical guy. He is going to make guys pay. He's going to ruffle some feathers, and he's going to set the tone physically, along with Kiefer Sherwood. So having these guys on lines that are probably going to be back-to-back, they're probably going to be consecutive lines. If they're going to catch guys in transition, like we even said in this offseason, would be awesome to see. They could catch guys off guard and just have them absolutely gassed so that they're very vulnerable for a big hit, and they could definitely lay those and make sure that it makes an opportunity for Vancouver to jump on the puck, get a takeaway, and make sure they can turn that into a point. But where things are going to get complicated with is as far as the lineup. We see here in the lineup for tonight, they went to the same lineup that they went with in the last game as far as the second line, and that was Nils Höglander, Elias Pettersson, and Connor Garland. It was probably one of, if not the best line on the ice in the last game, and it was absolutely the best line on the ice in this game. Petey was playing a lot better than he's played all season, probably his best game of the season. He's having great chemistry with Nils Höglander like we had predicted, and as well as Connor Garland was awesome with them. These guys have developed great chemistry on this line, but the thing that makes it complicated is that Dakota Joshua comes back. Him and Connor Garland, they're inseparable. Like we've said before, they're the Batman and Robin of this team. Like last year, they had some of the best chemistry that we saw in the NHL as far as two line mates. So if you're going to take that away, where are you going to put them? Or what are you going to do with Höglander and Petey? Do you keep Petey on that second line? You move Garland down to the third line, and then you bump up Sprong maybe to that second line, or Sherwood? Personally, I would prefer just to see Sherwood on that second line if Garland does move down. You swap those guys, and then you put Heinen down on the fourth line. You put Joshua in on the third line. There's going to be a lot of shuffling that is going to happen, but I think that would probably be the best outlook. I think Höglander, Petey, and Sherwood definitely gives that line the best chance to succeed with the way that those players play. Sherwood will bring a physical element, and then you can have him coming off the ice as Joshua gets back on to make guys pay. But it's going to be interesting to see what they do going forward with these lineups. It's going to be an ever-changing revolving door with this front-loaded roster. We are starting to see these forwards get back into the swing of things. Things are catching fire a little bit. We're going to get Dakota Joshua back, which, like Tocchet said, it's like a big trade. We've seen it in fantasy hockey and in fantasy football even, where you have that guy that's been on the IR or just hasn't played a few games and you finally get him back. It's like getting a shiny new toy and you know you're going to put up some points. It's going to be awesome to see Joshua back on the ice, and it seems like we're going to see him back on the ice sooner rather than later as far as when he's going to be back in this lineup. But what do you guys think down below? What do you guys think would be the ideal thing to do when Joshua is ready? Do you put him back on a line with Connor Garland and Teddy Bluger, or do you let the line of Höglander, Petey, and Garland just keep cooking like they have been doing these past 2 games as potentially the best line that we have on this team? We'd love to hear what you guys have to say down in the comments, but that's going to bring us into the final topic of the day, which is comment of the day. And we see here from Xavier Germain saying that a whole fan base breathed a sigh of relief. And I was talking about last game when JT Miller scored the overtime winner. And this game was also another one of those where we were going to a game where we lost to Philly and we lost to Calgary earlier in the season, and those were games we should have won. This was a game we should have won, and we did it. We did it convincingly. We played our best game of the season. We went out and dominated this game, and we are seeing this team finally come together, finally get guys clicking. Petey's more on the points board. I know a lot of people are going to be harping on him, but he's getting going a bit more, especially playing with Niels Höglander, like a lot of fans had been wanting to see, and now we're finally seeing it. But what did you guys think of the game overall? What do you guys think as far as the final game of this road trip heading into Chicago? Love to hear what you guys have to say down in the comments. Make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you don't miss any of the new updates when they drop. But that's going to do it for this episode. I've been your host, Griffin. Take care.